Non-stop rock talk with Tyson Friday.
Hey Todd, welcome to Non-Stop Rock Talk. Great to speak with you.
Man, thank you so much, man. Man, it's so good to talk to you again, man. I always like having a great conversation with you, and tonight will be no different.
Well, thank you very much. I'll start by congratulating you on the release of the first Roxy Blue album in 27 years, simply titled Roxy Blue. Now, with this album, it's a slight departure from 1992's Want Some. What do you attribute the change to?
Well, okay. Well, it's pretty simple. The fact that it's been 27 years, which, we got signed with Frontiers after 27 years. And we've tried to get back together over the years. It didn't feel right. But this is a good thing we got back together. And all of us have done different projects over 27 years. And, I've been in several different bands. Saliva, I started Saliva and 714. I played with my father-in-law and Jimmy Jameson. I played drums for him. So my musical taste and everything just kind of naturally changed. I didn't try to change with the times, but I guess I kind of did a little bit, but I think I was changing as a writer. And I know that, we grew up, man, life has a way of scarring you for the good or for the bad, and I took those experiences in my life, and that's what I write about. And back in the early days for Want Some, man, honestly, we were in our 20s, and we were just happy to be there, man. We got a record deal with a major record company with Geffen, and we were what we were. We knew all we knew back then, and I'm not lying, and I don't mean to sound, cliche or whatever you want to call it, but we knew how to party, we knew how to rock, and that's what we wrote about. It was sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and that's period. That's it. It was all about a good time back in 1992, and what I wrote about back then was who I was then, and then so I have a wife, I have kids, and my life, and all of us do. As a writer, to move on 27 years later, this new record, which is self-titled, it didn't come hard to me because I'd already been writing for so much stuff I was doing, but I did have to make a decision when we got the record deal to write a Roxy Blue record, but I wasn't going to try to make it what it was before because that's not who we are. That's not who I am. And so I wanted to make it I wanted to be believable. And I knew even Scotty T said to me when the record was done, he liked it, but he said, hey man, we're going to have some people from some Roxy Blue fans from back in the day that might expect some of the old sound, but I like this record, Todd. And I was like, man, I can't sit here and tread water and go backwards. I love the fact that we did what we did back in the day, and I'm proud of that. But I grew. We all grew. And I'm not looking for a one-off with Frontiers where we make a record that sounds like back then. We please a few fans and our old fans and everything's cool. Or do we make a cool record that's who we are now and take a chance on losing a few fans and gaining a lot more that never knew who we were? And I have to be true to myself because if I feel like I write something and I don't feel good about what I write, and I feel like I'm just writing something to pacify somebody, that's not true to me. And I'm older now, and I'm writing means more to me. Life means more to me. The words that come out of my mouth that I'm saying to someone else, I hope it helps somebody, or I hope it makes somebody feel good. And the thing is a lot of our fans grew with us, and they went through the same things that we went through in life. So I want to write about those things. My life experiences probably relate to a lot of people that are my age's experience, and some of the younger people can relate to what I write with. So I know this is a long answer, but the fact is that after 27 years, I attribute our new sound to who we are now. And that's it. I mean, and it is different from the old Roxy, but the evolution where we want to go with this was like the foundation. When I wrote this record, it was like the foundation of where we could get, I don't want to say get away from who we were, but if you try to be the same person you were back then, don't you think you're going back in time? I mean, I don't want to do that. I want to give a little bit of that sound and gradually move into where I want to be. And that's, I'm not saying today's music. I just want to be true to what I write, you know. And I think all of us, in the back of our mind, we're old school, man. We love rock and roll. And rock and roll's been put on the back burner by people so much, man. You know, it's like, yeah, rock's dead and all that. Well, rock's dead because radio made it dead. And I know evolution has to happen and people got to do what they do, but nothing ever stays the same, but rock will never die. And I think Roxy would like to be the part of that thing where, you know, rock's starting to get a little bit of a surge right now, man. And, you know, I don't think any of us are looking to be, you know, the next big thing. We are what we are, but I think that we just want to get out there and have fun and let the people that love rock and roll come out and see a great rock and roll show.
That's a fantastic.
Did that answer your question?
That's a great answer. And you know, it's funny that you say that because yesterday I was talking to my son and we're coming down to Memphis to see, we're going to the Tora Tora Damon Johnson show at the end of the month. And I said to him, I said, what do you want to listen to? And this was in the car, right? I was like, do you want to listen to some Tora Tora? And I said, I only have rock. And he goes, well, I like hip hop. And I was like, oh man. I was kind of disappointed because I'm like, here's my son and he's living with me and all I listen to is rock. And he's like, I want to listen to hip hop. I was like, wow. So my hope is that he's going to see the show and it's going to.
So you threw on Human Race and he was like, that's not what I was talking about.
Yeah.
And you said, hey man, but there's a little rap in there.
Yeah, exactly. So there was a time he was kind of into Whitesnake. He was really digging Whitesnake. That was his favorite band. And then Warrant for a while. And now I think it has to do with the influences at school too, right? Because, you know.
Let me just tell you right now, it's all about, look, man, it's a different day now. And that's just life. I mean, you know, people can fight it all day long. And the thing is, you can't change anybody the way they feel. And I've always been a firm believer in that. And I like I never have stereotype whether something's good, bad, or whatever. If it's good, it's good. It doesn't matter what category it's in. And I'm not really honestly, I'm a rock and roller, man. If I like to hear distortion and I like to hear loud drums and bass and vocals, and that's who I am. But on my kids, I've never really pushed that on anybody. And I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying I never have. And of course, I'm lucky enough. I met these kids called Under the Radar. 5 years ago, whatever, you know, they're 16 right now. So there you go. They're still young. And I wrote 2 records for them and did 2 records with them. And they're into classic rock. And that's what got them going. And then their new record that's getting ready to come out, which I'm plugging them right now. They wrote on their own, and it's an EP, and it's going to be amazing. But that's living proof that there's kids out there today that still like that rock. So that's what I said earlier, that rock's never going to go away. It's just not. I'm not really, a lot of the stuff today, and to me, and I'm not knocking it, I don't really care for it. It all sounds the same to me. And it's what they call rock in the rock category on these so-called award shows. Mm-hmm. To me, they have no clue what rock and roll is, because I don't even think they had a distortion on any of the guitars. Anytime you see them, I try not to even watch them, but I'll glance across it. And the thing is, I don't worry about it so much, because the fun part of rock and roll is going into a venue after you're on your way jamming to the band, and then you walk into a venue, man, and you hear it live, and you have a good time, and you interact with people, and it's a good concert, and it's rock and roll, and you get to go home, and you got to smile because you had a good time, man. And that to me is what it's all about. Life's too short to waste it on, trying to figure out what's good and what's bad. If you're having a good time, that's all you need to worry about.
That's so true. That's so true. It's kind of, he wants to play the drums. So.
Hey, let him, man. You know what? The good thing about kids is whatever, no matter what you tell them or whatever, they can be influenced by you, and they are in thousands and thousands of ways. Yeah. But you got to let them find their path, and they'll fail, and then they'll pick themselves up and they'll find something else. My son was the same way. He liked one thing and he never stuck with anything, but they'll find their niche. They'll find it, whatever it is. They'll find it, and they might be that person that finds the new thing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I have a set of drums. I just got to set them up. So I don't
set them up. Worst case scenario, it'll be great therapy for your child.
That is true. That's true. That's a good point. I'm going to have to get them set up. I got to put someone gave them to me, so I have to put new skins on them before we can get them going.
Right on.
What's that?
Right on, man. Throw some skins on it and let's rock.
We're going to do it. And I'll put on some Roxy Blue, and he can drum along to that. So it's all good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hopefully, I know you guys are coming to Memphis, and I'll be in town, I think, to go to the tour show. Anthony Core from Tour and I are going to Colorado next Friday. We're going to fly out there, and we've been asked to come out and play an acoustic show. And we do like a storyteller deal. We've done it a few times at places, and we had played a festival in Colorado last year, and one of the people that were there has asked us to come play this bar, and so we're going to go there. And I'm taking my wife Amy with me, and she's Jimmy Jameson's daughter. The late great my father-in-law Jimmy Jameson, and so we've met the owner before, and she had met him here at the Jam for Jimmy, and so he wanted her to come too, and she's excited. So we're going to kind of get up there and do a storyteller thing, and then I'll be back for the tour show here, and we're plugging their show, and that's awesome. They're my buddies. And then Roxy, as we signed with BLE Entertainment, Bradley Entertainment, for management and booking, and I know we're playing. We're looking for 2020. We're looking to get a new bus here soon. We're going to go back old school and do some flyouts and get us a bus and have a good time. I know in 2020 that we're looking. I think we're going to start around March because everybody's booking so far out. We're doing the Ballroom Blitz, Baltimore, right outside Baltimore. So I think that's when we're going to start getting out and playing a lot more, and that's what we're looking to do. And when we decided to sign with Frontiers, we said to each other, we were at a rehearsal, we were doing a show with Bret Michaels and Tour. Yeah. At that big amphitheater, and we got the call to be signed with Frontiers, and we talked after. We said, look, we're going to do this. We need to support the record. We need to play. We need to get out and play, or we don't need to do a record, Yeah. So we played a few shows. We played with Warrant, our buddies in Warrant in Chattanooga, in a really big place. It was sold out. It was a great show. We've done Rocklanta. We've done a few shows that are cool. We played with Bret Michaels, like I said. So, and we just did our album release, and Every Mother's Nightmare played with us, and that was sold out. So everything's going good, but we really want to start really getting out playing. So we're trying to book a lot for 2020, and we're going to try to get as many places as we can because a lot of people are wanting us to come and play. So we're going to try to get out and play as many places as we can. So be looking for us in 2020.
That's awesome. I was disappointed to see the guys didn't end up on M3, unfortunately.
We didn't. I talked to Brad about that. And, I don't know. I don't want to get into the politics of all that. Possibly next year. You never know. You know, I think you got to get. I think our deal is we got to get out and play. We got to let people. We've played some shows and people know that we're out there. But I think we got to get out there and play enough. So, like Brad would say, be in our show now. And I'm not being pompous or anything. I believe in Roxy Blue, but we're not the same that we were. We got a new guitar player, Jeff Cochran. Just since Dennis, he's no longer with us. So we have a different sound, and we do play some of the Want Some records. But we have a really cool live show still. Our live show is still top notch, and that's what we want to get people to see. When we get out there and get people to get into the new record, we've gotten great response on the new record. Overseas, big time. We want to get over there. So, yeah, man, we got to get out and play, and I think that's the main thing for Roxy Blue right now is that we're lining up some shows and try to stay busy, and maybe we'll pick up a tour. I don't know, but that's where our heads are at though. We're ready to do this. We didn't come into this thing with 1 foot in the door and 1 foot out the door. We came in both feet in and just, have some fun, and hopefully I've already started writing songs for the next record. I can't stop.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
I got some good ones. I've got some really good ones, and it's different. But I just keep myself busy. I gotta play. So
yeah.
I really want to. We want to get busy. Even if I start out playing, 3 weekends or 3. I don't know. I don't know what Brad's got planned, but he did tell me that 2020 was going to be good for Roxy Blue, which means it'll be good for the fans and the non-fans that will hopefully become fans. There you go.
That's fantastic. Now, going back to the very first question about the album, with all that said, what was the reaction from Frontiers when the album was handed into them? Were they like, this is different, this isn't what we expected, or like, you know what, let's roll with it, this is really cool?
I got to tell you, man, that's a great question. That's an awesome question. And I know the answer. I'm the guy who was talking to him about it. So Nick Teeter from Frontier signed us, and he's out of Nashville. He is he's the head dude in North America, and his Frontiers is based out of Italy. Mm-hmm. And so my father-in-law, Jimmy Jameson, had been with Frontiers, and Frontiers always delivered great music, but for a long time back in the day, to me, it was a lot of melodic rock stuff, and my biggest concern and our biggest concern, and we talked to Nick about this when he called and said, we really want to make sure that we can make a record we want to make. We don't want to sound like, we don't want the same producer and everybody, you know what I'm saying? So that was one of the things that turned us on about Frontiers, because Nick says, no, man, that's the deal. We want you to record it the way you want to record it. We want you to do what you want to do, and we want you to package it the way you want to package it, and then deliver it to us, and then we'll go from there. So the reaction, we made this, Nick was kind of excited about everything, so he asked me to send him a song. I'd written Rockstar Junkie was the first song I wrote for the record, and we had recorded it, a demo. I did a demo. It wasn't the major recording. I said, well, hey, man, I've got this demo of this one song, and this is kind of where we're going. And I sent it to him, and he liked it.
Yeah. So
they never heard another thing till I finished the record. We finished this record and we sent it to them. And then you are on the edge of your seat in a way, because, you're so close to it, especially as a writer, that I love it. And you want them, you don't know what they're going to say. And the thing about Roxy Blue is that the expectation had to be kind of scattered, because the expectation that you think that these people in Frontiers, or just the record company first, that knew us from the sound that we were, even though Nick heard the one song, Rockstar Junkie had a little bit of the old Roxy in it, but all of a sudden we send this record that's we know is completely different, and we're proud of it, and we don't care, and we send it to them, and we're waiting on the reaction. And probably me more than anybody is on the edge of my seat. You know, the guys just go with it. They're proud of it. They're going with it, and get the call, and they're freaking blown away, man. I mean, Nick called me first. It's like, dude, everybody is record. We had a meeting. Everybody loves the record, and wow, man, the new sound. We love the new sound, and great job. And then I get emails from different people in the company emailing me going, really love this record. And then I hear the beauty of all that story right there to me as the writer is when you get a call, text, or email 2 weeks later when they've lived with it, and then they're like, I really love this record. Me, that's what makes more sense, because when I write something, I know that it's going to grow on somebody, so give it a chance. So their reaction was really good, and to me, that just means that we're developing a great relationship with Frontiers, and we're super proud to be with Frontiers. They've been nothing but absolutely amazing to us, and we're looking forward to hopefully a cool future with them. They're a great record company, and we love them to death. So, and with the addition of Bradley Entertainment, I feel like Roxy Blue's about to do playing and getting everybody to see the new Roxy. So, and hopefully we can score this bus pretty soon, because I'm ready to just get on and bond and travel and write the next record on the bus.
Awesome. I mean, the more I listen to that album, the more things jump out at me. There's actually a lot of depth within the music. Like, it's not just, a bunch of songs.
A lot more than the surface. I get it. A lot. If you really, especially if you put headphones on, the way Jimmy Fulp and I produced and engineered up the record, and the way, if you put headphones on, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but you hear a lot of depth in things, the way the music, the way we put things in the music. And, the guys, I got to tell you, I'm a lucky guy. Scotty T, our drummer, and Josh Waller, our bass player. Those two guys, Josh went on to play with Dust for Life after Roxy. Scotty's played with everybody, man. I mean, he was with Nelson for a while, a long time. The Nelson guys. Played with Martina McBride, Vince Gill, Andy Grant. I mean, the guys in that. I mean, he's a seasoned guy. Those two guys get together. The first time we got together in years, man, a serious biz. It was like it's like they played together the week before that in a gig. I mean, that's how they didn't lose their niche. And one thing about Scotty and Josh, they from day one, when we got together, those guys clicked, and they just had something that was unforced. Mm-hmm. So when I have that rhythm section behind me, and Josh is an incredible bass player, when I have that rhythm section behind me, and Jeff and I laugh about it, our guitar player, Jeff played with Full Double Jacket, Every Mother's Nightmare back in the day, Jasmine Kane. He's a great guy, adds a lot to the band. And it just makes our life easier. Jeff, I'll be honest, man, Jeff had a lot of pressure on him coming into Roxy Blue, especially for the older fans, because a lot of people would expect Sid. Yeah. They would expect Sid was a great guitar player, and we're still friends, but he's a great guitar player. Back in the day, he was it. And I told Jeff, I was like, dude, don't ever try to be Sid. Be yourself. He's a great guitar player. I said, but just do your thing. He's like, that's what I'm doing. No, but Jeff's never shown that the pressure's been on him, ever. He goes out and he does his job. He has a good time. He's good with the people. People like him. And he's 100% in. And he does his thing. So my band, and I say my band, I shouldn't say my band. We're a band. Okay. We're the guys are, I'm just lucky to be able to want a band that is I don't have to worry about anything. They're just tight, great musicians, and they deliver. And that's just the way it is, man. And they deliver, and we're looking to move to even something even greater for the next record.
Right.
You know, we're going to make the next record more of a collaboration. I wrote this last record myself.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that, and I am a main writer, but I think we've all talked about, we're going to try to sound city it on this next record. Everybody's going to bring in ideas. We're going to get in a big room and we're just going to go for it. You know what I'm saying? And then we'll probably just go in the studio and just try to play us, you know, some live stuff, maybe even cut analog. You know, I like analog and mix down digital. That's fine. But yeah, I think that's cool, man, because that means, you know, a mistake. Sometimes you cannot ever recreate a cool mistake.
Yeah. And
if you try, you'll never get it right. And that's the beauty of real rock and roll to me, man, is to be able to just play it, man. And if it feels good, it's cool. It took me a long time to get to that point because I wanted everything to be perfect.
Yeah.
And then I realized that sometimes imperfection is about as perfect as you can get.
Yeah. But I'm sure Want Some was probably recorded on analog, right?
Yeah, man. Well, and we recorded all the main tracks at a house that Geffen had got us from one of the guys in Chicago, the band Chicago that owned on Malibu, and we actually recorded all the drum tracks and stuff from a mobile unit that was out in the driveway. That they ran mics all into the house. That's how Mike Klink wanted to do it. And the sounds that we were getting were incredible. I remember Tommy Lee coming out to the house, and he was freaking on just because Scotty sat in this big room, and he had just gotten his new Pearl kit, and, man, it just sounded so big. And, you know, Klink just had a lot of cool ideas. And, man, we went to a lot of different studios, man. We recorded we recorded guitars at Steve Vai's house.
Really?
Wow. Yes. We actually recorded some vocals and some stuff at the old Warner Brothers where Van Halen did 1 and 2. I think they did 1 and 2 there. In the exact same room. Tom Zutaut made sure we got the exact same room that they were in. And it was weird because I think he saw us, Tom Zutaut with Geffen. I think he did Guns N' Roses, Motley. I think he just saw his vision when he came and saw us live and everything was the old school Van Halen type band. We never really tried to be. I mean, we were influenced big time, but I don't think, and I know people might differ, you know, think I'm not telling the truth here, but I don't think that Roxy Blue really intentionally wanted to be Van Halen. You know, I mean, I did the Van Halen stuff to jump, and I still do it here and there, you know, and Sid had the overalls, and Sid didn't do the overalls for Eddie Van Halen, man. I know people think he did, but he didn't, man. He found some, and we were at this place, and he found these, and he's like, man, these would be really comfortable. Then he did the knee pads. Sid was actually into Steve Morse from the Dixie Dregs, and he was into Roy Clark of all people, man. And what a great guitar player Roy Clark is. I never would have known Roy Clark was that great of a guitar player, but I didn't live with Sid, and Sid would tell me, dude, that's why a lot of people don't realize Sid did a lot of Sid's playing. He picked every note, and he got that from Roy Clark. Yep. He didn't do a lot of hammer-ons or arpeggios and stuff. He picked a lot of notes. So, and that's what made Sid, he was separated from a lot of guitar players because his style was different. And, you know, there you go, man. I think that he was a vital part of Roxy's sound back then. So you want to go back to why we don't sound like that too. People that get together make a sound.
Yeah.
And Sid and the band, there was a sound with Sid that was that way.
Mm-hmm.
And so we don't have Sid. We're not going to, you know, even though I wouldn't try to sound like that today in close, you know, 2019 or whatever. Jeff's a different guitar player, and we're just a little different. So anyway, not to get back into that, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Well, I mean, what I will say about Sid is that when you listen to that album, Everything's articulate, and you can hear every single note. And it's like in the mix, that guitar is up because it probably
I'm gonna
proves.
tell you, Mike Klink did something that freaked us out, man. We walked in the studio. We went to a lot of different studios, man.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, I ain't lying, man. Roxy Blue's experience when we got signed from Tom Zutaut from Geffen, Doug Thaler, Motley Crue's manager. Motley welcomed us when we came into town, and then Mike Klink producing, which is we just love Mike. Man, we had the world was right there at our fingertips, man, and we had the best of the best. We went to all these fucking great studios, man, and we experienced a lot, and I'm very grateful that I had that experience. Whether Seattle came in and swooped it up or not, it doesn't matter, man. Things happen for a reason, and I enjoyed my experience. But we walked in the studio one time with Mike at one of the studios, and he had gotten this from this place. I mean, there had to be 30 heads stacked on top of each other. Sid was doing guitar solos that day. And it was unbelievable looking, man. They were in the control room, stacked up, and it was unbelievable. It was overkill. And he was combining different amps together for sounds, and that was all. He and Sid it was like two scientists working, and they just, Sid had his homework done. That's one thing I'll tell you about that guy. And I've been that kind of guy always all the time.
Yeah.
Have your homework done.
Yep.
When you go into a studio. It's okay to elaborate and come up with new stuff, but have your homework done and know what you want to play. And Sid did that, man. He did his homework, man. When you have something on the line, when the world's going to hear something you're doing, you can't take that lightly. And and I mean that in the fact that, man, be true to yourself, man. We like to get in there, it's a hard thing for when you're excited, the world's going to hear our music, but it's almost kind of scary because, man, somebody rejection is very hard, and every band gets it, and the greatest bands in the world have gotten it. Rejection. Somebody, you can get 1,000 reviews and people tell you you're great, and one guy tells you you're not, and you suck, and they hate you, and it's the only one you ever remember,
That's
dude.
So true.
I remember being on the bus with Roxy. We were traveling, and I was in the back lounge, and Frank Shackler was with the Top Rock management. He was out with us, and I remember he had a thing he got from our management company, all of our reviews, and we're reading them, and they're great, dude, man. And your ego's getting big. And then one guy says, "Want some?" And his only reply was, "I don't think so." It haunted me for years. I was like, that motherfucker, And it doesn't matter, man, because that's their job, man. And not everybody's going to like you. I've learned that over the years, and you always want everybody to like you, but not everybody's going to like you. And I think that's the thing that makes you work hard, man. If everybody likes you, you get lazy, man. But if everybody doesn't like you, it makes you work hard so you can gain 2 or 3 more people. In my aspect, that's the way I look at it. So
that's so true. Getting back to Sid again, it's so funny that you mentioned Roy Clark, because when I was a kid, my dad watched Hee Haw every Saturday at 7 o'clock, and we only had one TV in the house, and he would always say to me, "Son, if you want to be a good guitar player, you have to play like Roy Clark."
Roy Clark.
Yeah.
Roy Clark was a weird, he's one of those players. And I only know this because I was around Sid and I got a chance to dive into some real Roy Clark music. Not the Hee Haw was good, but Roy got a lot deeper than Hee Haw. You're talking about a guy that was playing stuff that would just freak you out.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized when I watched Sid play. Sid and I lived together, so a lot of songs were written on what they called an answering machine back then.
Yeah.
And I'd be driving down the road, and I'd stop at a payphone and get out, and I'd call, or wherever I was, I'd call and leave a message on the answer machine. And then I'd go, rock-a-bye, baby, you drive me crazy. And I would do that, and I'd leave it. And Sid would either get home before me, or again, we'd check the answer machine and see if either one of us left an idea. And that's a lot of that record was written like that.
Really?
And, oh, yeah, dude. It was, yeah, man. You know, and yeah, I don't even know what the question was, but I can tell you right now, that's what, you know, it was a different day back then, man. And the writing, the way we wrote that was weird, man. And we lived in a studio, above a studio that was like a production studio up above the studio Cotton Row, which we ended up did our demos at.
Yeah.
And me and Sid and I rented the place, and we started practicing. I remember the first night we ever got together and practiced, man, we tripped on acid. And the guy from downstairs, well, we had been practicing, and then we wanted him to come up and listen to us, Nico Liras. And we were all tripping on acid. And we didn't do that a lot, but we did that one night. And I think we played the same freaking riff for like 30 minutes, man, and dude was blown away. But man, you know, where Roxy is now and where we were then, it's different just because everybody's older. But we as people, we created a bond that was so strong back in the day. We were so together as brothers, and a lot of bands can attest to this for themselves. But we got back together, man. We didn't see a lot of each other at all for years, man. We'd run in. Scotty lives near Nashville in Franklin. So, you know, we just didn't see each other a lot. But we get back together. We've gotten back together a few times in the past for certain things. And I got to tell you, man, it's like we know we're different, but we're the same. We're still the same guys. We still have that bond that we did something together that we'll never do again with anybody else. You know what I'm saying? So still got that. And when we get together today, it's like if I don't see Scotty for a month or two, we can get together, man. And it's like I saw him yesterday. I mean, you know, it's just we're brothers, man. We always will be. And the fact that we're back playing together again, and the excitement in the band is really up, because we played some gigs and we see the response, and it makes you want to do it more. And so we're really excited about coming to see all you people out there, man. We really are, man. And we're going to get to Canada and play.
Awesome.
Man, we are. We loved it when we played Canada before. And we're getting a lot of good things overseas in Europe and China or Japan, should I say. And so we're going to try to do as much as we can. Germany, but Canada would be somewhere where I know we played before, and I know that we've already talked about, because I told the guys I was going to get together with you and do an interview, and we've done a few with different guys from Canada and stuff. And I mean, I think it's a must that we come to Canada. You know,
I agree. I agree.
You know?
Now, there are some listeners that may want to know this. Do you still do the splits? Well, yeah. My back's a little sore tonight. I've had a little bit of an issue, but no big deal. Yeah, man. Believe it or not, I did not want to just, you know, my wife tells me she doesn't want me doing it anymore, but I still do it as high or higher than I've ever done it. We've got photos of at the Bret Michaels show. I know there was a photo of the guy took a photo, and you can see Scotty between my legs on the drums on the riser, and I'm way above that. I'm getting up in the air. It's never the jump that gets you. At my age, it's the landing, and I'm in pretty good shape. So it just depends on the show whether I do it or not. I've been doing it at most of the shows. I just do it. I don't really plan it. You know, I mean, before I do it, I make sure I know what I'm doing, because you can get really hurt, you know, jumping that high in the air, especially when you get older. But, man,
Man, I used to do a lot of them, man. I do 2 or 3 of them a show.
Really?
I do one a show now, so I've been known to do 2. But I don't try to make it a thing anymore, man. You know, that's not who I am anymore. But sometimes if I'm feeling really good at a show, man, I know people want to see it. I mean, I know a couple shows we've done, they'll see me get up on the riser. I have these big boxes on the Warrant show, and I know that you see people get their cameras out. I'm like, well, I'll give them what they want since they came. But yeah, man, I mean, it's risky business hitting the ground at 15 feet in the air.
Oh, you're just hoping for a good landing. Like,
that's all you're hoping for, dude. And if you get that, my wife always told me, look, do it at the end of the show. That way you can do the show. If you get hurt, and I don't want you to get hurt, but I end up doing it like in the beginning of the show. I do it when I feel like it. I did it in like 3 songs in the Warrant show. I just jumped up and did it. Just don't know, but I do make sure that I prepare myself before I do it, because it's risky business no matter what. So you land wrong, dude, you're done. Well, and healing is a lot fast. So, you know, it ain't like jumping off a little, you know, I usually get about 11 feet. And
you also you want to make sure that your pants aren't going to rip.
Well, my pants aren't going to rip. I've gotten into the stretch now, but it wouldn't matter if they did or not, man. You know what I'm saying? The show must go on.
That's awesome. That's so good. You know what? I pulled out Live at Night Moves today from the FNA release. And
right.
So I opened it up and I'm looking for some liner notes, and there's really not any liner notes in it. What is the whole story behind that show? When was it done? Because there's a lot of songs on here that were done that were never on the album.
Man, I'm going to tell you about FNA. So what happened with FNA is that we weren't doing anything, you know, years ago. So I got a call from this dude from FNA, and he's like, Steve Lockett. Great guy. I love Steve. And he's called me. He's like, look, man, I got this company, FNA out of Nashville, and we want to sign Roxy Blue. We just did a deal with Tortora, and we know you guys are buddies with them. But I said, well, what is it? He's like, well, we want to release unreleased songs that you did that were not with Geffen, and we want to do your demos. You know, things you get. You know, we can't re-release stuff that was on Geffen, or you know, we can't release those recordings on another label. Right. So, me and Scotty got together, and we said, you know, we didn't even talk to Josh really, and Sid was way out. Me and Scotty got together, and it's like, look, dude, you know, we're not a band really. We're not going in this to play live, but let's get together. And it was kind of exciting for me and Scotty. So we started gathering up all these songs that we had done over the years. We went back to Cotton Row. We talked to them. They took some of the analog tape from our stuff and put it on CD for us. The thing is, some of the stuff that Scotty and I had done, some of the newer Roxy songs that we were working on, they were done on cassette, man. I mean, it was years ago, so some of the sounds were just like really locked up, you know. But the Night Moves thing, that whole deal came about. They wanted to do a live record. And they said, look, Scotty and I got together, and Scotty goes, look, dude, Milwaukee would have been the show to do. So, but Milwaukee, if you listen to Want Some More at the end of that, it's a live recording of Rock Cradle, I believe, and it's Milwaukee, you know, and it was fucking 18,000 people there. Man, when I spit, it was live on the radio there. People were into it. I mean, those fans up there are fucking badass, man. And I was like, but we ended up using Night Moves, a place here in Memphis that we played, and it was jammed packed. I mean, and Scotty I think we had the recording to it. I think Scotty had the recording. And Scotty and I actually went in the studio and tried to kind of make the whole 3 CD set thing the best we could make it. And some songs sounded pretty good, but you know what we were working with, we had to go off without having masters to a lot of it. So it was basically enhancing the demos we had through already recorded stuff. So we couldn't go in and take the master and separate stuff. And it was all off recorded stuff that was done on a DAT or a cassette. And, so it wasn't something that, it wasn't a lot of digital stuff that we could go back and separate and make great recordings. Some of the stuff sounded really good on Want Some More, I thought. I'm really proud of a lot of those songs. And then we had some of the stuff we did on Stripped was, some of it was stuff that we did live on the radio, man, with Zeke Logan, rest in peace. And it was, and I sound like I'm 12 years old, so, but it is what it is. And the live thing, the way that came about is that it was at Night Moves, and it was like, let's just call it Live at Night Moves. And I think it's pretty much the show. And there's songs on there that, fuck, I'll be honest with you, I don't even remember that we did until I heard them. I was like, oh man, oh God, I forgot all about this song. So All Tied Up, songs like that, I didn't remember that. That shit's just like S&M shit to me now.
Like there's Another Rose in the Garden as the final.
Another Rose in the Garden.
Right.
And we were proud of that shit back then. Yeah, and there's a lot of shit that we wrote so many songs. There's a lot of shit we played live, and we never ended up recording them big time, And and you hate that. I did that with Saliva. I remember. Well, I wrote. I was a co-writer on Your Disease, and probably the only reason I got any of that is because I had a recording of it, but it was called Falling Out. And same thing with those guys. We wrote so many fucking songs all together that there's songs that if you don't find them in my duffel bag on a cassette, you'll never even know that riff, and it might be the coolest riff known to mankind. I try to record everything you do all the time because you never know. You can go back and go, fuck, let's put this together and make a record. So we put 3 records together for F&A and made some cheese and it was fun. It introduced people to Roxy kind of coming back. Then when Frontier signed us, it was a done deal. It was a good reason for us to get back together and have some freaking fun. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And make some great fucking music.
And when you bought them, you got a guitar pick.
You got a lot more than a guitar pick.
Well, you got the albums, but I have that guitar pick. Like, my wife made me this thing of all the guitar picks I have, and that's actually in there. I'm just trying to think. There's some Brother Kane stuff in that pick thing. Striper, Danger. You got a Roxy pick in your deal, man. That makes us very proud. Yeah, man, it's in there. It looks great. There's some Alice Cooper stuff there too.
Well, Tommy, I got to tell you, buddy, you've always been, ever since we met, you've always had a true love for Roxy Blue, and that means a lot more than you think to me, man, and the guys, man. And when I met you in Memphis, when you came to Memphis, the great thing about that you might not realize is how much that meant to me, that it was important that we meet up. Yeah. And it made it important to me at that point to meet up. I'm like, man, I don't really know Tyson, but I really like this guy. So we had talked so much. Yeah. So I met up with you. It's cool. And then ever since then, we've been buddies.
Yep.
And we'll see each other again here soon at the end of the month. But yeah, man, and it's funny how relationships start, and you're a music lover, and I love that about you, and the fact that you love the Roxy, I love that. But it's deeper than I think. You and I have become buddies, and we've become friends, and that's a great thing in life, man. You make a new friend, and it's cool with him. To me, that's worth more than any of it.
Oh, yes, it totally is. And I don't know if you remember, we initially met in Illinois, in Pekin, Illinois, at Rockin' Skull.
In thinking at Rocket Skull when me and Chris played an acoustic show.
That's right. Yep.
And that show, I'm going to tell you something funny about that show. I love that venue, by the way. And that was the first time we'd ever done Rocket Skull. And so Chris, I wanted Chris play with me in 714.
Yeah.
And I said, Chris, man, go with me. I'll pay you good, and let's just have fun. Chris was like, hell yeah, let's go. And Chris Turnbow, he plays with the Brian Howell band from Mad Company now. And so we go, and it's funny, we go to the show, they take us out to a steak dinner, and we get there, Justin Murr ran that, and they take us out to this big steak dinner, and they're treating us like kings, and we felt really good about it. And we we went to the club that night, the night before we played. And the people were coming up, and it was awesome. I didn't have any idea. So the next night we walk in, we go do our little sound check deal, and it sounds great. The guys who worked it were great. So when we go back, so it's time for showtime. We're going to go up to the club. And they send a car, and they bring us up there, and we walk in, and they asked me to be there. They said, Todd, you need to be there at a certain time. We've got people that we're going to sign. We need you to sign some stuff. And I was like, okay, cool. I've never been to one of these, one of the Rocket Skull things where they have a bunch of vendors and stuff out. While we walk in, and they meet us, and Chris and I are sitting there, and they're like, so what we want you to do is you're going to sign this guitar, and blah, 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 and you're going to go down here, and then we're going to sign. I'm like, okay, well, where do you want to be? And we're going to set you up right here. And I looked down that thing, dude, and I promise you, it freaked me out, and I was so humbled by it that there was a line all the way to the stage, man, and we were on the other side of the building for us to sign stuff. And I didn't know it at the time, so I see all these people lined up, and I'm thinking everybody else is coming in or whatever, and then they tell me, no, this is for you. Now, this is the cool thing about the story. So Chris is letting me do my thing. And I'm like, dude. He's like, no, dude. So anyway, I said, come on. So Chris and I was sitting there, and then people start bringing up not only stuff I've never seen at Roxy Blue, and then Saliva stuff, and then they bring up 714 stuff. So Chris is involved all of a sudden, man. They want to see Chris, and it was a magical moment. So like Todd Poole does all the time, it's showtime. We're back in the back. I'm hanging out with Chips and Up, and all of a sudden it's time for us to go on, and I'm blowing a joint with dude, and the chip, and Chris and I looked at Chris. I'm like, man, dude, I hope there's some people here tonight. He goes, dude, it's gonna be packed, dude. People are coming here to see you. I'm like, I hope so. Anyway, it's time for us to go on. We're gonna play acoustic, and we walk up that stage, and it's wall to freaking wall, dude. You're talking about feeling like so grateful. I mean, I'm not lying to you. It was nothing but people. And last time I saw it, it was just a line. It wasn't a lot of people. Man, it was a cool show. Didn't you have fun at that show?
I had a great time. I was, now a funny story about that show. You and I met in the bathroom of all places. And I said to you, I can't remember. I don't know if we were standing at the urinal, whatever. It doesn't matter.
I promise you that I can't remember.
No. And I said, Todd Poole. And I was like, man, I brought these CDs with me. Can you sign them for me? And you're like, yeah, cool, man. And so we went and I can't remember. I have to admit, I had many beers by that point. And, we hung out for a bit, and then later on when I started doing the Sleaze Rocks thing, I contacted you and told you who I was. But that was an awesome time. But the funny story,
it was fun, man. And Chris and I both just had it was a blast, man.
It was a blast.
The reception we got. So yeah, it was cool. And we played a lot of different stuff. We played Roxy stuff. We played a few cover songs. I know that we played some 714 songs. So I mean, it was. And what's weird about that? I was reading the reviews on that show and comments.
Yeah.
And I think the thing that really hit me the most, and I really appreciate people sending, beautiful things to us about that show, but there's a guy on there that said, man, I was never really a Roxy Blue fan. But I watched that show, and I got to tell you, man, it was really good. And Todd Poole delivered, and I enjoyed myself. And that hit me so hard that I thought, man, I gotta convert.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I actually woke up the next day. So my wife was with me, and I went into my pants, and there's a pass with the Rock and Skull thing on it. And I said to her, where the hell did this come from? So she's like, I don't know. So anyways, we go the next day, and who was playing? Danger Danger, Black and Blue, Babylon AD, Tough played that day. So anyways, I go up, and I've got this pass, and they're like, oh, just go in. So I go up to the bar, and they see it, and they go, oh, sir, all your beer's paid for. I was like, what? He goes, yeah, with that pass, all your beer's for free. And you can go right to the front of the stage. I was like, well, where the hell did this come from? Well, and then I started thinking about it, and I guess I was standing at the bar, and I was with Bruno Ravel from Danger Danger, and Justin came up to me, and he said, here you go. He goes, I can't even remember why, but he gave it to me, and took really good care of me, but for the life of me, I couldn't remember why I had it the next day.
Dude, let me tell you something funny. So, I think it's been 2 years now. So, we had Justin's always been great. He's a big Roxy fan and stuff, and, he's been through the ringer on a few things. And,
he has.
So, he asked us I said, man, you kind of screwed me on the last show, but you're still my buddy, and I love you. But he's like, man, we get to play Rock and Skull. So, I got the band together. The band that is now. And I'm like, look, we're going to go play Rock and Skull. And it's been a year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah.
So, I don't know anything about it. The money was good. I'm like, okay, well, it was okay. So anyway, we go, and it's this fucking place out in the fucking sticks, dude. It was in somewhere in Illinois.
They changed the venue, right?
Well, we had done Peking. Peking. We did Juliet the year before. Me and Anthony did. Anyway, the whole band goes there. The people were great. We get there though, man, and we're like, fuck, man, and we go up on stage, and nothing that we on our rider was right, and amp wasn't working. I'm like, holy shit. But the guys were great. They got it all together. Those guys were awesome. And we played the show, and when we got done, we signed autographs, we had fun, we talked to the people, and then all of a sudden, it's time for us to go, and it's late, dude. It's like nobody in there. Everybody was cleared out, drinking with a few people.
Yeah.
And we're ready to go back to our hotel. And the guy that was running the bar, which is a new guy, just says to me, oh, dude, well, I don't know. You'll have to call an Uber. And I'm like, and we're in the middle of nowhere, dude. I'm like, call an Uber.
What?
Dude, we're the goddamn headlining fucking deal, and you want us to call an Uber? So, man, Bob Long, the coolest motherfucker. I love Bob Long.
Yeah.
Says to me, comes up, and he says, my son will give you a ride. And his son was there, and he was cool as shit. But I want to say, so we go out, dude. This is funny as shit. We just played this fucking gig, and starving to death. We're going to go eat. And this dude gets us, and he's got this band, dude. And I think it was an exterminator band. So and it's got these cages in it and shit. So we're all in this fucking exterminator band or something. And we're driving back to the hotel, and we're hungry. We're like, they stopping at Denny's or whatever it was. Dude says, well, I'll wait out here in the truck and y'all go get something to eat. And we're like, nah, man, come on in. We bought him a big-ass pancake dinner. Man, it was shit. We all looked at each other and we said, no matter what, we had a great time at the show, but nothing is going to fucking top the fact that we drove in an exterminator van and stopped at Denny's and had pancake dinner and then went back to the hotel. That, awesome. To me, was the best thing about the whole fucking trip. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, Tyson. You're awesome to talk to. I really appreciate from me and all the boys at Roxy Blue that you're giving us a voice for everyone to hear. And man, you know that my phone's open for you to call anytime, and I want to. We appreciate being on Nonstop Rock Talk with Tyson, man. I mean, that's some good stuff. So thanks for the time, and Merry Christmas to everyone out there, and looking for and Happy New Year to everyone out there, and be looking for Roxy Blue in 2020, hopefully coming to your city or a city near you. We're looking to do a lot of touring in 2020. And have a Merry Christmas, my friend, and hopefully I'll see you in Memphis when you come to the tour show. Everybody out there, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. We'll see you later.
Awesome. Oh, Todd, thanks so much, man. It was great having you on. As always, it's always a pleasure talking to you. And always lots of enthusiasm, and which I love, because it's great. It's great after all these years to hear you still love doing what you're doing, and that's amazing.
I appreciate it, man. It's just who I am, man. I do it for all the right reasons now, and just glad to be here, man. I'm glad to play music, and I'm glad that there's people out there still listening, and hopefully we can continue this for a while. And I got some new songs, and we'll be looking for a new record hopefully in the next year or so. But right now we're slam dunking the record we have, so we're going to try to get out and bring the live show to everybody. So I really appreciate you having me on the show.
Oh man, that's all. You're always welcome. Anytime. Anytime, man. Well, thank you very much, and have a good night.
Yeah, man, and hey, give me a buzz when you come to town.
No sound.